It's the oldest continuously inhabited town in Europe, dating back 8,300 years. It's the birthplace of two Roman emperors. It's the place where the oldest Indo-European calendar in the world was found. And it's one of Croatia's most historical and culturally important cities. But life goes on in Vinkovci, and in 2024, things are still changing. This town is still evolving. And as part of our series, Croatia When the Glass is Half Full, here are 10 ways that Vinkovci is improving. And we start with a message from the mayor of Vinkovci, Ivan Bosancic.
Vinkovci kao lider naše županije ima pregršt projekata, naravno ni 10 najznačajnijih ćemo prikazati u ovome videu i želim da doživite Vinkovce kao jedan grad koji raste, grad koji prihvaća ljude sa svih strana, grad kao centar tradicijske kulture, ali i grad kao centar istočne Slavonije.
The most unusual building in Vinkovci in the historic centre to open last year was the long and eagerly awaited library, which opened after the original library had been destroyed during the war in September 1991. The new library, which has been designed by local architect Marko Milidrag, who won an award for his innovative design, on the front has the shape of a book in its pages, interspersed with bits of shrapnel and 3 pieces of shell damage, just to symbolise the historic damage. Originally, the library, when it burned down completely, lost 85,000 books, and now, finally, after 30 years, the city now has this essential part of its community back, and with a lot of modern equipment inside and technology, the library is now capable of dealing with 6,500 loans at one time. So it's a really nice addition. It's been very, very popular since it opened, and at least a quarter of the Vinkovci population have taken part so far. The heritage buildings of Vinkovci are slowly being restored, and one of the most significant in recent times has been the so-called Sokol building, which was originally built in 1927 by famous Vinkovci architect Dragutin Basler on the banks of the Bosut. It's been lovingly restored and now has a 73% decrease in consumption of CO2 emissions, and so it's much more energy efficient. And in a nice connection between the needs of the city and using heritage buildings, current tenants are the Vinkovci Judo Club and the Vinkovci Taekwondo Club. One of the great additions to Vinkovci tourism in the last couple of years or so has been the opening of the fully renovated Sokočki stand just outside the city, about 3 kilometers into the forest. This is now a historic building which has now been converted into a fully functional gourmet and event centre, and they've managed to keep the traditional feel of it but also put in modern facilities. So I was there for an event last year. Cuisine was fantastic. The location's amazing, and this now is one more thing and one more reason for people to come to eastern Croatia. After more than a year of work, one of the main traffic arteries of Vinkovci is a much safer place. Ulica Ruđa Bošković, in the centre of the town, had been something of a traffic black spot. But there's been an investment of 22 million kuna, about 3 million euros from Croatian Roads, which has put in signs, barriers, and also traffic lights to significantly reduce the possibility of accident. And in addition to that, they've also fully renovated 118-metre bridge behind me, just overgoing the Bosut. And so it's now a much, much safer and much more modern place to pass through the town. 2023 also saw an unusual addition to the Vinkovci cultural scene in what we believe is the smallest art gallery in the world. The town's most unusual building is a bona fide English telephone box, which was brought by Steve Gaunt, a war volunteer who's been living in Vinkovci since 1991. And so recently it was one of the few remaining public telephone boxes in the whole of Croatia. Last year it got converted into an art gallery, and here you can see the kind of stuff that was going on. And we believe this is the smallest art gallery in the world, in the oldest continuously inhabited town in Europe. Vinkovci is full of surprises. Entrepreneurship is a key engine of economic growth, and just before the pandemic, the city of Vinkovci opened the Poduzetnički Inkubator, the business incubator. And this is a very modern building just behind me of 1,861 square meters. It has 13 offices and 5 production units, as well as conference rooms, canteen, lots of joint facilities. It also has a lot of business mentoring in terms of seminars, in terms of coaching, in terms of promotion, and so on. It has been a very, very successful initiative with lots of local businesses taking part in this, and this has been one of the small seeds of growth in Vinkovci in terms of bringing growth and new jobs to the region. Vinkovci's environmental credentials were enhanced somewhat in March 2024 with the completion of the Sunny Side of the City project, which was an initiative to put solar panels on the roofs of 3 kindergartens, 3 primary schools and Vinkovci Technology Park, with the aim of reducing electricity consumption by 95%. The project went very, very well. Each station had a photovoltaic system. Sport is an incredibly important part of the fabric of Croatian society, and here in Vinkovci is no exception. It has one of the largest tennis centres in the country, and right next to it you have the Tibalia football stadium, which is the local team, where up to 400 kids train every day, according to the mayor. And there was a nice addition in 2023 with the first artificial pitch in the whole of Croatia, which was installed at a cost of €243,000. And this now gives a little bit more flexibility and a little bit more opportunity to the children and to the adults of the town who are playing football. In October 2023, Vinkovci welcomed the first ever closed market in its history with an investment of around €1 million. It's located right next to the Vinkovci open market, and between the two facilities more than 50 local farms have their produce on sale in this area. The 800 square metre indoor space includes huge refrigeration facilities as well. All the stall holders who are taking part in this have discounted stalls for the first 5 years. And there was good news at the end of 2023 for the inhabitants of Borinci, as the long-awaited overpass over Duga Street, over the railway, was finally completed. The €9.2 million project, funded exclusively from EU funds and the state budget, includes a 500-metre overpass, as well as 4 kilometres of upgraded road, including cycling and pedestrian access. Previously, when they had to do a detour of 15 to 20 minutes, and now they're connected by 5 minutes straight into town. And this now includes the opportunity to improve the infrastructure and expand it into this part of Vinkovci as well. So there we go. It's a journey that started 8,300 years ago. It continues today, and Vinkovci is changing as elsewhere in Croatia. And many things are changing for the better. And let's see how things improve in the future. And we'll be back next year to check on progress. But it's a beautiful, beautiful city. If you're into your history, then definitely come and have a visit. Very, very friendly people and a very, very relaxed atmosphere. And I heartily recommend Vinkovci as a place to visit.